How do you manage fear?
At some point, I'd been just fucking rocketed and mortared and shot at so many times, I just didn't give a fuck anymore. Like, I just, you know what I mean? Like, they're like, you know, get up, they see me, I'm down, bitch, I'm walking to that next truck. You know, if he's gonna fucking pop me in the head, it's gonna be my day. So there came a point where, like, I just didn't give a fuck anymore. And I think that made me way more effective on a risk scale on different tasks. However, like, I would tell anybody is, you know, this helicopter ride into wherever the fuck we're going, you're going to have 1,000 emotions today, right now, today. You're going to have 1,000 emotions, right? Do you stick with the ones that make you angry or sad, or you're trying to stick with the ones that make you happy? Because you're going to have 1,000 emotions in that fucking helicopter. When you get off, don't be the fucking coward. You know what I mean? So it's a wave. You got to ride it. And, you know, and then once you learn to surf, riding that wave doesn't become so bad. You know what I'm saying? So you got to learn to surf first, and you got to understand this is waves. And I think that's really the way it works. Another thing that really helps is fucking fatigue. You want to not give a fuck? Just be tired doing this shit all the time, because we do this shit fucking 100 times a fucking day. You know what I mean? And it's like, I just got back from last night. We raided 100 buildings last night. We're on call this morning. Oh, another Saddam sighting. Like, okay, so this spawned another 28 buildings. So this takes us to dinner time. But however, well, we got to start planning after dinner for tonight's 10 targets. You know what I mean? So it didn't stop. So I think fatigue also plays a role in the give a fuck meter. And I think last, it's like, fear is healthy. Learn to harness it. Like your stomach, you get butterflies, that's a fucking butterfly cage. Let them fly around, right? Like, I think you have to learn to harness it, and not only harness it, but just accept it, you know? And then I think over time you become, you know, anti-fragile, in the sense that, like, whether you just don't give a fuck or you know how this is going to go down. I've seen this before, you know, I'll get a couple guys over here, we got this, right? Whatever it is. And I think last, it becomes a game of 0 to like 10, I think. What does that mean? No opposition tonight. We're going to stay at a 0 all night long. We're going to snatch people. We're going to try not to fire a shot. We're not going to make any noise, right? We use light discipline. We're in and out as quick as possible. We're going to do this as much as possible. However, if someone has to shoot once, you better be ready to kill the whole fucking village. You know what I mean? Because if you think that gunfire doesn't, and then we see this nightly, is there'll be a guy fucking running out of the next door house with a fucking wheel gun in Iraq because he's got 6 hot daughters. He heard that gunshot. He thinks fucking rape in his house, so he's going to defend his house. You know what I mean? Now, this guy runs up on you with a wheel gun. You know what I mean? You just drop the neighbor, right? So now you drop that neighbor. Well, everybody heard that gunshot. So now the whole neighborhood's coming to the fight. And this is like these neighborhoods, Sadr City, Ramadi, right? You'd start the gunfight and then have to slip out of there while they just fight each other, because then they wouldn't know who was shooting anymore, and you just leave. But it was a 1 to 10 thing of, you better be ready to execute this to the fucking nth degree, right now, or let's try to get all this done without any of that. And that was the goal. And like, you know, I think people don't misunderstand. Like, people are like, you know, they want to watch combat footage, but it's like, you watch some of this combat footage, there's a lot of boring shit happening from outer space all the fucking time. But, you know, that ain't what it feels like on the ground when you're in one of these situations.
Was there one situation where you thought, oh, fuck, I'm not getting out of this alive?
Fucking so many, man.
Just too many to count?
I fucking wrote that check so many fucking times, you know what I mean? And only to be like, and then be like with other dudes, like, yo, let's never do that again. How about that? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, fuck yeah, I would never do that again, right? So many times it's not even, especially in the mortar and rocket days. And then it'll get to the point where it's like, okay, am I going to get to a bunker, or do I just fucking go back to sleep and try to get some sleep and don't give a fuck about these mortars? You know what I mean? Because if one lands in my bunk and I was sleeping, I wouldn't know anyway. So you just kind of like, I don't know if you don't give a fuck I just don't care anymore, right? And I think that's the first layer of it. But this also, I think, leads to burnout later too.